Alex had been living on the alien planet for a few months as part of a research team. His job was to study the environment and understand the local ecosystem. The planet was beautiful, filled with strange plants and animals. Alex often wandered through the dense forests and clear waters, amazed at how peaceful it was. He had no idea how much his life would change on this day. It was a warm afternoon when Alex first met Lyra. He was walking along the edge of a large, crystal-clear lake when he saw her. Lyra was a member of the Zorathian species, a race of humanoid aliens that had recently made contact with humans. She was beautiful, with glowing skin that shimmered in the sunlight, and her eyes were the color of the planet's deep blue sky. She was sitting on a large rock, looking out at the water, her feet dangling just above the surface. Alex, always curious about the Zorathians, approached her. He had read about their species, but this was his first time seeing one up close. They had been taught that they were an intelligent and peaceful people, but there was still so much to learn. "Hey," Alex said, trying to sound friendly. "You planning to swim?" Lyra looked up at him with a smile. She had never seen a human before, though she had heard stories about them. "I don't know how to swim," she admitted, her voice soft and unsure. "We don't have bodies that work the same way in the water. It's complicated." Alex chuckled. "It's not as hard as it seems. I can show you if you want." Lyra's eyes widened. "You would teach me?" "Sure, it's easy and it's fun," Alex replied. "The water here is great, nice and warm." Lyra hesitated. She had never seen humans swim, and she wasn't sure what it was like, but something about Alex's easy confidence made her curious. "All right, I'll try," Alex grinned, and helped her step down from the rock. The lake's surface glimmered under the sun, its water so clear that Alex could see straight to the bottom. It was the perfect place for swimming as Lyra stepped into the water. She was careful, dipping her toes first before stepping deeper. Alex stayed close, offering encouragement as she slowly got used to the feeling of the water around her. Cool sensation was strange for her, but it was not unpleasant. "You're doing great," Alex said, smiling at her. Lyra looked up at him, her face glowing with excitement. "This feels ... nice." They spent the next hour in the lake. Alex showed her how to float and how to use the water to help her move. He was careful to guide her, making sure she didn't get scared. Lyra, despite her initial fear, began to enjoy herself. She laughed as she tried different swimming techniques, always asking Alex for advice. The water was peaceful, and for the first time, Lyra felt completely free. She didn't have to worry about anything, just the gentle current and the man who had shown her this new world. She couldn't help but feel a growing sense of connection to Alex. Her culture didn't have swimming rituals, but it was clear that this moment, this shared experience, was something special. As they took a break, sitting on the soft grass by the lake's edge, Alex couldn't help but notice how beautiful Lyra was. The sunlight danced on her skin, and the way she laughed made his heart feel lighter. He'd never imagined a moment like this with someone from another species. But it felt right. "You're a natural," Alex said, wiping his face with a towel. "I didn't expect you to catch on so fast." Lyra smiled shyly. "Ah, you made it easy. You didn't make fun of me for not knowing. Most of my people think I'm strange for wanting to try. Swimming is not common in my culture." Alex raised an eyebrow, curious. "Really? Why?" Lyra paused before answering. "In my culture, water is seen as a place of ... deeper meaning. We do not swim for fun or relaxation. It's tied to something more ... important." Alex felt a small knot of confusion in his stomach. He didn't fully understand, but he nodded. "Well, I'm glad. You gave it a try. I think it's something anyone can enjoy." For the rest of the afternoon, Alex and Lyra talked about their different worlds. He shared stories of Earth, and she spoke about the Zorathian customs. Despite the differences, they found common ground, laughing over misunderstandings and sharing stories. It felt like they had known each other for years. As the sun began to set, Alex helped Lyra out of the water. The evening breeze was cool, and they both stood on the shore for a moment, watching the colors of the sky shift. "Thank you," Lyra said, her voice soft. This has been very special to me. Alex smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest. Anytime. You're always welcome to join me again. They parted ways that evening, but for Alex the world seemed a little brighter. What had started as a simple invitation had turned into something he hadn't expected. He couldn't wait to see where this connection would lead. Little did he know, Lyra had interpreted the invitation in a way he hadn't expected. The next day, Alex found himself walking through the alien village near the lake. He had decided to take a quick trip to the market to pick up some supplies for his research. It was a peaceful place, with colorful tents and busy traders selling unique alien goods. As he moved through the market, he noticed a few Zarathians, giving him strange looks. It wasn't unusual for humans to stand out here, but today felt different. One of the Zarathian women, who was talking with a group of people nearby, suddenly stopped and looked directly at Alex. She whispered something to her friends, and they all stared at him. Alex shrugged it off, not thinking much of it. But something felt off. He couldn't quite put his finger on it. As Alex continued to shop, he ran into Lyra again. She was standing near a food stall, looking at some local fruits, her bioluminescent skin glowing softly in the sunlight. When she saw Alex, she smiled widely and waved. Alex waved back, happy to see her again. Hey, Lyra, he greeted, walking over to her. What's up? Lyra looked at him with bright eyes, her expression filled with warmth. Was thinking about what you said yesterday, she replied, her voice softer than usual. About swimming, I had a wonderful time. Alex smiled, glad that she had enjoyed the experience. I'm happy to hear that. Maybe we could swim again sometime? Lyra's smile grew even wider. Yes, I would like that very much, she said, her voice almost musical with excitement. In fact, I was hoping you might invite me again, but this time to a special place. Alex was confused. A special place? Lyra nodded, her eyes sparkling with what Alex thought was happiness. Yes, it's a tradition in my culture, she explained. The swimming ritual is a significant event, something that happens only between two who are ... connected. You invited me to swim yesterday, and that means ... She paused, taking a deep breath. You've chosen me, Alex blinked, not sure he understood. Wait, what do you mean? I just invited you to swim because I thought you'd enjoy it. Lyra's expression changed, just slightly, but enough. For Alex to notice, her smile faltered and her gaze became more serious. But ... isn't that how it's done? The swimming ritual means something special between two people in my culture. It's a symbol of choosing a mate. She lowered her voice. And you chose me, didn't you? Alex felt a rush of confusion. Oh no, I didn't mean it like that at all. Just thought it would be fun to teach you how to swim, that's all. I didn't know your culture saw it like that. Lyra looked down at her feet, her face suddenly shadowed by embarrassment. Oh, she murmured. I see. You did not mean ... no. Alex said quickly, trying to fix the misunderstanding. I swear, Lyra, I didn't mean anything like that. I just wanted to help. I didn't know it meant so much. Lyra nodded, but the smile she had earlier was now gone. She didn't speak for a few moments, just looked at him with a mix of confusion and disappointment. I misunderstood, she said, her voice barely a whisper. I thought you were offering yourself to me. I thought we were becoming something more. Alex felt his heart sink. He hadn't meant to hurt her, hadn't even thought about the cultural implications of his actions. I'm really sorry, Lyra. I never meant to make you feel like that. I think you're great, but I didn't think it was a big deal. Lyra lifted her head and met his eyes, but there was a new seriousness in her expression. It's okay. I understand now, she said quietly. But you must know that in my culture, this misunderstanding is not small. To invite someone to swim is to offer your heart, to choose them as your ... partner. Alex's mind raced. He hadn't realized that something as simple as a swim could carry such deep meaning. He tried to explain again. I really didn't. No, I'm just trying to be friendly. Lyra took a deep breath, and for a moment she looked calm again. I know you did not mean to hurt me, but my people... We do not see things the same way as you. When someone accepts the ritual, it's not just about swimming. It's about trust, and it's about the beginning of something important. She hesitated, then added, "Now I have to explain this to my people." Alex was starting to panic. "Wait, no, please. This isn't how I wanted things to go. I just wanted to help you swim. I didn't want to get involved in anything like this." Lyra looked up at him again, her eyes softening. "I know, Alex. I understand now. I made an error. But this is not something easily fixed in my culture. They will expect me to bond with you now." Alex thought about the implications. If Lyra's people expected this bond because of something as simple as swimming, things could get complicated fast. The last thing he wanted was to make her feel like she was forced into something. "I'll talk to them," Alex promised. "I'll make it clear that there's been a misunderstanding. You don't have to do anything you don't want to." Lyra nodded, her face more serious now than it had been. "Thank you, Alex. I appreciate your kindness, but the damage has been done. The ritual has been shared. There is nothing to undo." She turned to walk away but paused before leaving. "But maybe, just maybe, we could still try again. Maybe we could figure out what happens next without the pressure?" Alex didn't know what to say, but he nodded. "Maybe we can." The next few days were uncomfortable for Alex. He couldn't stop thinking about what had happened with Lyra. She had misunderstood his invitation to swim, and now he found himself caught in a strange and confusing situation. He had been hoping to enjoy his time on this alien planet without any personal complications, but things had taken an unexpected turn. Alex tried to continue his normal routine, going about his research and talking to the locals. But it seemed like everywhere he went, he was reminded of the awkward conversation with Lyra. The other Zorathians he passed would glance at him, whispering to each other. He wasn't sure if it was because they knew about the misunderstanding, or because they were just curious about the human who had chosen one of their own. Either way, Alex felt the weight of their eyes on him. It wasn't long before he ran into Lyra again. She was sitting near a large tree by the lake, as if waiting for him. When Alex saw her, he took a deep breath. He knew they needed to talk again, but he wasn't sure where to start. The last conversation had left both of them feeling uncertain, and now there was even more tension in the air. "Hey, Lyra," Alex said softly, walking up to her. "Can we talk?" Lyra looked up at him, her expression serious. She nodded, her glowing skin reflecting the light of the setting sun. She seemed calm, but Alex could tell she was still processing everything that had happened. "I'm really sorry for the confusion," Alex said quickly. "I didn't mean to hurt you or make you feel uncomfortable. I honestly didn't know that swimming meant so much in your culture." Lyra sat silently for a moment, looking out at the lake. "It's not just about the swimming, Alex," she said, her voice quiet. "It's about what that moment meant to me. You were kind to me, and I felt something, but I see now that you didn't understand. I shouldn't have assumed anything." Alex's heart sank. "I never meant to give you the wrong impression. I thought we were just having fun, you know? It was nothing more than that for me." "I know," Lyra replied. "But in my culture, the act of swimming together, especially with someone from another species, is seen as something very special. It's a way of connecting, of forming a bond." Alex rubbed his temples, feeling the weight of the situation. "I see now that I made a mistake. I should have asked you more about your culture before I invited you. I didn't think it would lead to this." Lyra turned to face him, her eyes soft but serious. "I don't blame you, Alex. I was the one who misunderstood. I thought you were offering something more." "I wasn't," Alex said quickly. "I didn't mean to make it seem like that." For a moment, they both sat in silence, the soft sounds of the planet's wildlife filling the air. Alex wished there was an easy way to fix this, but it seemed like the damage had already been done. "I've been talking to my people," Lyra said after a long pause. "They've noticed the way we've been interacting. They expect something now, something I'm not sure I can give. They think we've formed a connection, and it's going to be hard to explain that it was all a misunderstanding." Alex frowned. "Do you want to explain it? You want me to talk to them and tell them the truth?" Lyra shook her head. Don't know if I can just tell them it was all a mistake. My culture, once something like this is started, it's hard to stop. People will expect us to be together now. Alex thought about what she said. It was clear that Lyra was feeling trapped. She had grown up with a different set of rules, and now she was stuck in a situation she hadn't asked for. He didn't want to make things harder for her, but he also didn't want her to feel pressured into something she didn't want. I'll do whatever it takes to fix this, Alex said, his voice firm. If you want me to talk to them, I will. I'll make sure they understand that I didn't mean anything beyond a simple invitation. Lyra smiled faintly. I appreciate that, Alex, but it's not that easy. My people are proud of their traditions, and it's hard to change their minds once something is set in motion, I think. I think we need to give them time to understand. Alex nodded. I get it. We can't rush them, but I don't want to leave you feeling uncomfortable. If there's anything I can do to make this better, please let me know. Lyra thought for a moment before speaking again. There is one thing. I think we should spend more time together, but without any pressure. We can talk, learn from each other, and see if this is something real. But no rituals, no expectations. Alex felt a sense of relief wash over him. It sounds perfect. I just want to get to know you better, Lyra. I don't want to force anything. She smiled at him, her expression more at ease now. That's all I wanted to. We don't need to follow the rules of my culture to form a real connection. We can figure this out together, without rushing into anything. For the first time since the misunderstanding, Alex felt like he could breathe again. He was relieved that they had found some common ground. There were still a lot of things to figure out, but at least they were starting with honesty. As the sun began to set behind the hills, casting a warm glow over the lake, Alex and Lyra sat together in silence, each lost in their thoughts. They weren't sure what the future would bring, but they were both willing to take it one step at a time. The days that followed felt different for Alex. He had spent most of his time trying to understand more about the Zorathian culture, hoping to avoid any more misunderstandings. He read about their customs, their beliefs, and the important rituals that shaped their lives. He was determined not to make the same mistake again, but despite all his reading, there was still one thing he didn't quite understand. How did he fit into all of this? Was he just a friend to Lyra, or had he unintentionally stepped into something deeper? Every time he saw her, he couldn't help but feel an increasing sense of uncertainty. Lyra, too, seemed to be in a state of confusion. She was trying to act normal around Alex, but every time they met, there was an underlying tension. She was kind and thoughtful, but there was something different about the way she looked at him. It was as if she was waiting for something. Alex wasn't sure what it was, but he knew it had to be addressed before it became more complicated. It was late in the afternoon when Alex saw Lyra near the lake again. She was sitting by the water, her legs folded beneath her, staring out at the horizon. The setting sun painted the sky with shades of orange and pink. It was a peaceful moment, but Alex couldn't shake the feeling that he needed to talk to her. He took a deep breath and walked over to where she was sitting. "Hey, Lyra," he called softly. Lyra turned to face him, her expression warm but hesitant. "Alex," she said, standing up, "I've been waiting for you." Alex paused, unsure of how to respond. "I didn't know you were waiting for me," he said, his voice a little nervous. "I wasn't sure when you would come," Lyra admitted, her eyes lowering to the ground for a moment. "But I've been thinking a lot about what happened between us, about the misunderstanding." Alex nodded, his heart heavy. "I've been thinking about it too," he said quietly. "I just don't want things to be awkward between us." "I never meant to make you feel pressured, Lyra." She smiled slightly, but there was a sadness in her eyes. "I know you didn't mean it that way. I just... I didn't know how to handle it. I thought... I thought we were starting something. But then you told me it was just swimming, and that made me feel... confused." "I didn't want to make you feel confused," Alex said quickly. "Should have been more careful. I didn't know how important that invitation was to you." Lyra stood up fully now and took a step closer to him. "It's not just the invitation. It's what I felt in that moment. It wasn't just about swimming, and you helped me when you guided me. I felt something I haven't felt before. I felt... seen. I thought maybe you were seeing me the same way." Alex looked at her, his heart racing. Lyra, I do see you, but I didn't know it meant so much to you. I didn't know you'd feel that way, just from something as simple as swimming. I thought maybe we had started something more, she continued, her voice softer now. But when you said it wasn't, when you said it was just an invitation, I felt like I had misunderstood everything. Alex was quiet. For a moment, he wasn't sure what to say. He hadn't meant to hurt her, but now he could see how important that moment had been to her. She wasn't just looking for a swim. She was hoping for a connection, something deeper. And now, he was afraid he might have ruined it, I think. I think I need to be honest with you, Alex said finally. I didn't understand the depth of what you felt, and I didn't want to make you feel like you were just ... another friend. But I also don't want to lead you on if I can't give you what you're looking for. Lyra's eyes met his, and for a moment, neither of them spoke. Alex could see the conflict in her eyes, the mix of hope and doubt. He wished there was an easy way to explain how much he cared about her, but he didn't want to make promises. He wasn't ready to keep. I don't want to hurt you, Lyra, Alex said softly. I really do care about you, but I think I need some time to figure out what this all means. Lyra took a deep breath and nodded. I understand, she said. Quietly, I've never been in a situation like this before, and ... I don't want to rush anything, but I think I need to know where we stand. Alex stepped closer to her, his voice sincere. I promise you I'm not going anywhere. I just need time to understand what I'm feeling too. Lyra smiled, her expression softer now. I can give you that. Just needed to hear you say it. They stood there for a few moments looking at each other. The tension between them had lessened, but there was still an air of uncertainty. Alex wasn't sure what the future held, but he knew he didn't want to lose the connection they had. Maybe we can start over, Alex suggested. No pressure, just getting to know each other. Maybe we can spend more time together, but this time without the misunderstanding. Lyra smiled again, and this time her smile was full of warmth. I'd like that, she said, her voice steady, as they sat down together by the water. The sun began to dip lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the lake. Alex felt a sense of calm, wasn't sure where this would lead, but for the first time in a long while, felt like things were heading in the right direction. They didn't have all the answers yet, but they were willing to figure it out together. After their conversation by the lake, Alex and Lyra had agreed to take things slow. They spent the following days together, talking and getting to know each other better. Didn't rush into anything, and there was no pressure from either side. Alex made sure to be more aware of Lyra's cultural practices, and she, in turn, learned more about human customs. It felt like they were building a solid foundation, but the air was still thick with an unspoken question. Could they move past the misunderstanding? Lyra's people began to notice the change in her behavior. She was quieter than usual, and her conversations with Alex became the talk of the village. Some of the older Zorathians watched with curiosity, while others whispered behind closed doors. The tension around them was undeniable, and Alex could feel it weighing heavily on him. Lyra had explained that once the swimming ritual was shared, it was difficult to turn back. Her culture took such things seriously, and now there were expectations. The longer the misunderstanding went on, the harder it would be to change how others viewed their relationship. One afternoon, as Alex was walking through the village, he saw a group of Zorathians gathering near the marketplace. He wasn't sure what they were talking about, but their expressions were serious, and a few of them glanced at him as he passed. It was impossible to ignore the feeling that something was shifting, and not in a good way. When he met up with Lyra later that day, he could see the worry in her eyes. She had heard the whispers, too. I think they're starting to talk, Lyra said softly, her voice filled with concern. They think we're closer than we really are. They don't understand what happened between us. Alex sighed, feeling the weight of the situation. I didn't mean for things to get this complicated. I wish I could make it all go away. Lyra looked at him, a mix of sadness and determination in her eyes. I know you didn't mean for this to happen, Alex, but I think it's too late to change their minds now. They expect us to ... to bond. They're waiting for us to act like a couple. The word couple made Alex uncomfortable. He hadn't thought of them that way. He cared about Lyra, but it was still hard for him to imagine a future where they were together, not with all the cultural expectations involved. "I don't know if I can do this," Alex admitted, his voice quiet. "I don't know if I'm ready for that. I never wanted to make anyone think we were something more than we are." Lyra stepped closer to him, her eyes searching his face. "I understand. But if we don't act quickly, my people might start to ... force things. They won't let it go. We have to either decide to move forward or tell them it was all a mistake." Alex ran his hands through his hair, frustrated. He didn't want to hurt Lyra, but he wasn't sure he was ready to take the next step. The last thing he wanted was to hurt her by not being honest about his feelings. "Maybe we could just explain everything," Alex suggested. "Tell them the truth, that it was a misunderstanding, and that we're just friends." Lyra looked down, biting her lip. "I wish it were that easy." "You don't understand, Alex. My people are proud of their traditions. Once something like this is started, it can't be undone easily. If we tell them it's all a mistake, they'll lose face. They won't respect us anymore. It could cause a lot of problems." The weight of her words sank in, and Alex felt helpless. He hadn't realized how serious the situation had become. Lyra was right, telling them the truth could cause more harm than good. "I don't want you to be caught in the middle of this." "Lyra," Alex said, his voice soft, "I'm not sure what the right thing to do is." Lyra took a deep breath and shook her head. "I don't want to be caught in the middle either, but I'm already here. This is my culture, and I have to deal with the consequences. But that doesn't mean I want you to feel trapped. I just want us to be honest with each other, no matter what." Alex nodded, grateful for her understanding. "I'll do whatever it takes to make this right," he said. "I don't want to hurt you or your people. I just don't want to do something I'm not ready for." Lyra smiled softly. "We'll figure it out together. I know this isn't easy, but we don't have to make a decision today. We have time. We just need to take things one step at a time." The conversation didn't end there, but it felt like a turning point. For the first time, Alex and Lyra were truly on the same page. They didn't have all the answers, but they both understood the gravity of the situation. They needed to navigate the complexities of their cultural differences. But they weren't alone in it. As the days passed, the tension in the village only grew. Alex could feel it in the air, the questions, the curiosity, the judgment. It seemed like everyone was waiting for him and Lyra to make a move. They were expecting something. But neither of them was ready to give in to the pressure. One evening, as Alex and Lyra sat by the lake, watching the stars above, Alex found himself feeling conflicted. He cared for Lyra more than he had ever expected, but the thought of being pushed into a relationship that wasn't ready to happen made him nervous. He didn't know what the future held, but he wasn't going to let anyone force him into something he wasn't ready for. "I don't know what's going to happen, Lyra," Alex said quietly. "But I do know this: I'm not going to let anyone pressure us into something we're not ready for." Lyra turned to him, her expression serious, but filled with warmth. "And I won't either. We'll do it our way, Alex. Together." Tension in the village had reached its peak. Alex and Lyra had done everything they could to explain their situation, but the pressure from the community was growing. The more time they spent together, the more the Zorathians expected something to happen between them. The misunderstandings were only snowballing, and it seemed like there was no way to avoid the consequences. Lyra had explained to Alex that in her culture, once the swimming ritual was shared, there was an expectation of commitment. But they had both made it clear that their bond was still in the early stages, and they weren't ready to take that next step. Yet, in the eyes of the Zorathian community, it was already too late. Their actions had already been interpreted as a sign of deeper connection. One afternoon, Lyra received a message from the village elders. They had heard about her and Alex's situation and wanted to speak with them. Alex wasn't sure what to expect, but he knew this meeting was important. The elders were powerful figures in the community, and their approval could either ease the tension or make things worse. "I think we need to go," Lyra said, her voice quiet but firm. "Now the elders want to talk, and we can't avoid them any longer." Alex nodded. He wasn't sure what they would say, but he knew it was time to face the situation head on. I don't want you to feel pressured into anything, Lyra. We can still talk to them and explain things, right? Lyra looked at him, her eyes filled with a mix of fear and determination. I hope so. But I think they will want us to perform the ritual again to make things clear. If we don't, I'm not sure what will happen. The elders lived on the outskirts of the village, in a large, open hall surrounded by trees. As Alex and Lyra walked up, they could feel the weight of the moment. The hall was quiet, and the air was thick with anticipation. Elders sat in a circle, their faces serious as they waited for the two to arrive. Alex, Lyra, welcome. One of the elders, a tall Zorathian with silver hair, said, We've been hearing about your situation, and we believe it's time. To address the misunderstandings, Alex took a deep breath. We've tried to explain, but it's been difficult. I never meant to give Lyra the wrong impression. I simply wanted to teach her how to swim. There was no hidden meaning. Another elder, a female with bright green eyes, spoke next. We understand your intentions, Alex, but you must understand that your actions have consequences. In our culture, the swimming ritual is a bonded, deep, and meaningful connection. Once it is shared, it is not taken lightly. Lyra looked at Alex, her expression filled with worry. I tried to explain this to him. We didn't mean for it to go this far. The elder with silver hair nodded. We know, Lyra, and we understand the confusion. But now, we must act to ensure that the community understands. The bond has been formed whether you intended it or not. We have two options. Either you take the next step and commit to each other, or we must end the misunderstanding for good. But if you choose the latter, there will be consequences. Alex felt a wave of panic. He had no idea how deep the situation was, and he didn't want to cause any harm to Lyra or her people. What kind of consequences? He asked, his voice tight with concern. The elder looked him in the eye. If you deny the bond now, it will cause a rift between you and the community. Trust will be lost, and it will be difficult to repair the damage. The Zorathians are a proud people, and we do not take these matters lightly. Alex swallowed hard. He wasn't sure what to do. He cared for Lyra, but he wasn't ready to commit to a relationship like this, especially not with all the pressure from the community. I don't want to hurt anyone, Alex said quietly. But I'm not sure I'm ready for this. Lyra reached out and took his hand. We don't have to rush into anything. We need to do something to clear the air. The ritual must be redone, in front of the elders, so everyone can see it. For what it truly is, the room fell silent as the elders exchanged glances. Finally, the elder with silver hair spoke again. If you choose to perform the ritual again, it will be done with the understanding that it is a public declaration of your intentions. The community will witness it. We will make sure there is no further misunderstanding. Alex looked at Lyra, her eyes filled with both fear and determination. He didn't know if he was ready to take this step, but he could see that it was the only way to fix the situation without causing further harm. I'll do it, Alex said, his voice steady. Despite the uncertainty he felt, I'll do it for you, Lyra. If this is what we need to do, I'll do it. Lyra smiled softly, relief washing over her. Thank you, Alex. This isn't easy for either of us, but it's the only way to move forward. The elder nodded. Very well. The ritual will take place tomorrow at sunrise. Prepare yourselves, and remember that this is a step forward. Whether it leads to something more or not, it must be done with respect. As Alex and Lyra left the elder's hall, the weight of what they had just agreed to hung heavily in the air. Alex wasn't sure what the ritual would mean for them, or if it would change anything between them. But he knew one thing for sure. They had no choice but to face the consequences of their actions. As they walked back toward the lake, Lyra looked up at him, her face calm but her eyes full of uncertainty. Thank you for doing this, Alex. No, it's not easy. Alex squeezed her hand, trying to offer her comfort. We'll get through it. Together. The morning of the ritual arrived sooner than Alex had expected. He woke up early, the soft light of the rising sun shining through his window. His heart was pounding in his chest, not just from nervousness, but from the weight of the situation. He had agreed to take part in this ritual to clear the misunderstandings. But he still didn't fully understand what it would mean for him and Lyra in the long run. Lyra had been up long before him. She had gone to speak with the elders again, to prepare for the ceremony, and she seemed calm on the outside, though Alex could tell she was nervous. She had insisted that they take things slowly, but now it felt like everything was moving too quickly. They had agreed that this would be a step toward clearing the air, not necessarily a commitment. Still, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that this moment would be much more than just a public declaration. He had no idea what the ritual itself would involve, but he knew it was important, not just for him and Lyra, but for the Zarathian community as well. Alex walked to the lake where the ritual would take place. The sun had risen fully now, casting a warm glow over the calm water. The air was cool, and the world felt still and quiet like the calm before a storm. The elders were already there, sitting in a circle near the water's edge, waiting for them. When Lyra arrived, Alex saw her standing at the edge of the group. Her head held high, but her eyes still filled with uncertainty. She wore a simple but beautiful garment made from natural materials, her skin glowing softly in the morning light. She looked like she belonged to this world in a way that Alex felt he might never fully understand. "Lyra," Alex said softly, walking over to her. "Are you okay?" Lyra turned to him, offering a small smile. "I'm fine, Alex. We just need to do this. It's the only way to move forward." Alex nodded, though he wasn't entirely sure about everything. He wasn't used to being part of something so serious. His life on Earth had never involved rituals like this, and now, standing in front of the Zorathian elders, he felt more out of place than ever. The elder with silver hair, who had spoken to them the day before, stood up and gestured for them to approach. "It is time," the elder said. "The ritual will be done as a symbol of understanding and respect. We do this to honor what has been misunderstood and to create clarity for all." Alex and Lyra stepped forward together, side by side. Alex felt the eyes of the entire community on them, but he focused only on Lyra. He could feel the tension in the air. But there was also a sense of calm between them. They had talked about this, and now they would take this step together. The elder began to speak, his voice calm and steady. "In our culture, this ritual is more than just an act. It is a sign of trust, a promise to be open and honest with one another. We will now share in the water as a symbol of partnership and respect. The water will bind your connection, and from there you must decide where it leads." Lyra turned to Alex, her eyes meeting his with a look of quiet understanding. She gave him a small nod, as if to reassure him that this wasn't a decision they were making lightly. Alex, feeling a bit overwhelmed, nodded back, not sure what was coming next, but trusting her. The elder motioned for them to step into the water. As Alex waded into the lake beside Lyra, he felt the coolness of the water around his feet. It wasn't cold, but it was a strange feeling compared to what he was used to. The lake seemed alive in a way that made everything feel more intense, as if nature itself was a part of the ritual. Lyra reached out and gently took his hand, her fingers cool against his. She looked at him, her gaze steady and clear. "We don't have to make a decision today, Alex," she said softly. "This is just to clear the air. We're still learning about each other, and we can take our time." Alex squeezed her hand, feeling a sense of relief. "I know," he replied. "I just don't want to hurt you, Lyra. I never meant to lead you into something you weren't ready for." Lyra smiled at him, her eyes warm. "Trust you, Alex. This is just the beginning. Whatever happens next." The elder's voice broke through their quiet conversation. "The ritual is simple. We will now share a moment in the water, and when we are finished, we will return to land. There we will speak of our intentions and our respect for one another." With that, the group of elders began to chant softly, their voices blending with the sounds of the water. Alex and Lyra stood side by side, their hands still linked, feeling the weight of the moment settle over them. The chanting grew louder, and for a moment, Alex felt like he was a part of something much bigger than himself. It wasn't just about the ritual anymore. It was about respect, understanding, and the willingness to try, despite all the uncertainty. As the chanting slowed, the water around them seemed to settle. The community watched in silence as Alex and Lyra slowly stepped out of the lake, their steps measured and deliberate. They stood in front of the elders, their hearts still racing but their minds clearer. The elder with silver hair spoke again, his voice filled with approval. You have shared in the ritual. There is no longer misunderstanding. From here you may decide your path, but know that we respect your choices. Lyra turned to Alex, her expression soft and hopeful. Thank you, Alex, she said quietly. We did this together. Alex smiled, feeling a sense of peace he hadn't expected. Thank you, Lyra. I'm glad we did this. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, Alex and Lyra stood together, no longer feeling the weight of the misunderstanding that had once loomed over them. The ritual was done, and the community had seen it for what it truly was, a step toward clarity, not commitment. Whatever the future held, they were ready to face it together.